Hello, this recording is for cost analysis lecture number 1. Unfortunately, the software I actually used in the class on the day of the lecture crashed afterwards, and so the file wasn't saved. So I am going through these slides just sort of to maintain consistency and make sure the information gets online, but there may be some slight variations between what I say now and what I said in class, although the content itself and the policies and everything will be the same. So let's begin by taking a look at a couple of announcements. First of all, the first homework assignment, which I'll show you in just a moment, is due on Tuesday, February 2nd. It's due before class, and so what that means is that you need to upload it to iLearn before 11 o'clock. Don't print it out, don't email it. The only way to submit that assignment is through iLearn. So in addition to that announcement, I'm going to give you some basic information about the course and its importance, and then we will take a look at some of the handouts. Also in class, we conducted a concept inventory, which is just a way of measuring at the beginning of the semester what ideas are already known by students. And so those of you who weren't in attendance that day won't be able to conduct the concept inventory, but it won't necessarily inhibit you from learning in the rest of the course. It's just something I wanted to try at the beginning of the semester. All right, so cost analysis is sometimes called engineering economy as a subject. The name of the course varies depending on where you are. It's important because in engineering, one of our objectives is to design things efficiently. And cost analysis will provide you with the tools to do that. One of the things that we have to do in engineering is compare alternatives. And let me give you an illustration. If we are trying to choose between an asphalt roller that's small and an asphalt roller that's large, we have to look at which alternative is going to bring the greatest amount of profit to a company. Presumably, the small asphalt roller can't work as quickly as the large one. It seems to have a wider drum. It's probably heavier, so maybe there are fewer passes required in order to get the asphalt pressed and consolidated to the density that's needed. So in engineering economy, we'll take a look at the financial aspects and the implications of different equipment, different projects, different interest rates. We're going to look at all of that and try and identify what's most efficient. Another big part of what we will do through the semester is look at the effect of time on money. Sometimes there's this phrase that's used, it's called the time value of money. And what that means is that if someone's offering to give you a certain amount of money now, let's say if they would give you 100 dirhams or $100 now, or they gave you the option for the same amount of money in 10 years, of course you'd take the money now. And it's not just impatience. It's because I think most people in the back of their minds already realize that costs are always going up. The cost of food and clothing and phones, the cost of rent. It seems that prices are always marching upward. And so what that means is if things are more expensive in the future, then a certain amount of money, like 100 dirhams today, is more valuable at the present than it will be in the future. And so through this course, we're going to try and identify methods that will allow you to account for this, because a project that is constructed now but paid for in the future is going to be collecting revenue that's less valuable than the money that was spent in the present. And so that definitely needs to be accounted for, or else a company will quickly go bankrupt. Another reason for this course and why it's required for students to take it is that your degree is ABET accredited. And that's a big badge of distinction that you're attending and hopefully will graduate from a university that has ABET accreditation, because it's a sign of quality and a commitment to continuous improvement within the program. Well, one of the requirements that ABET has for its programs is that students learn how to utilize tools and do designs economically. You can see that that word is underlined in the description that's provided. And so The economical aspect of your design assignments is addressed in this course, and you'll learn tools here that you can apply through senior design and other senior level design courses when you reach that level. Through the semester, I'm going to rely partly on lectures, the standard PowerPoint and examples that are written out on the board. But that will be a smaller part of our class time than is sometimes the case in your other courses. We're also going to do something that I'll call in-class exercises. And an in-class exercise is something that is a way for you to apply information as soon as you've received it and start solving problems inside the classroom, collaborating with your classmates and checking your solutions with me, so that when you get to the homework assignments, they don't feel too unfamiliar. In the past, I made these in-class exercises graded, but this semester I'm not going to have them graded. They're going to be just for your own benefit, and so you don't have to give me the papers after you've finished your solution. You can take them home with you, and then you can use them for reference purposes as you solve the homework assignment. Sometimes those will be hand calculations. Sometimes that will be work that you're doing on Excel. We're going to use Excel, Microsoft Excel, in the computer classroom occasionally, and I'll announce those in advance when we go into the computer classroom. But usually it'll be around half the class time, sometimes a little bit more when we're doing the in-class exercise. And the idea here is just hands-on applied learning. Once again, you don't need to worry about getting credit for those in-class exercises because this semester it's not graded. And the whole point of them is to transition you into the homework. And the homework is additional details and additional depth beyond the in-class exercises. But although you can do the in-class exercises in pairs or in small groups, it's required for you to do the homework individually. And I'll address that in more detail as we look through the course policies. So let's do that now. The first thing I'll mention, though, is that you should purchase the textbook at your earliest opportunity. There's both a paperback edition of it available for sale at the bookstore, and I know that some students have already elected to purchase the electronic version of the textbook. So however you do it, you need to get your hands on the book as soon as possible. I'll always have suggested sections from the textbook that you should be reading, and some of our homework assignments come from the textbook as well. Let's begin by taking a look at the course schedule. And this is a document that will show you now, at the beginning of the semester, everything we're doing through the whole semester. So you can see the subject of each lecture by class number. Here's the date of each lecture. And so that when we meet on Tuesday, February 2nd, you can see that day we're going to be talking about interest rates, rate of return, all the way down to the last lecture of the semester. And so they're numbered. I'm also showing you when the various holidays are and when we're having things like quizzes, midterm exam, when you'll receive the project assignment, when the project reports are due, and so on. So this is a very important document. I distributed paper copies of this in class on Sunday. If you don't have a paper copy, it's also found on our course website on iLearn, so you can print your own copy. Refer to this. One thing I'll emphasize is it's showing when homework assignments are due. And so homework number 1, which I already announced at the announcement slide at the beginning of this video, you can see that homework 1 is due on Tuesday, February 2nd at the beginning of class. And so your next assignment after that will be due Tuesday, February 9th, and so on. The next document I'm going to show you is our course policies. And here with the course policies, you can see my email address, my office location, and telephone number, and so on, my office hours. One thing I want to emphasize, it's really important, is the learning environment that needs to be maintained in the classroom this semester. I'll read it verbatim because I think this is important. Students are expected to attend class meetings on time and ready to learn. So what I mean by on time is no students will be permitted to enter the classroom after the door is closed. Our class starts at 11 o'clock, and that's when I'm going to close the door. If the door is closed when you come, don't open the door. It'll be very embarrassing and awkward if I have to ask you to leave the classroom. The reason for this is I don't want there to be disruptions once our lecture begins, and I find it very distracting, and I know a lot of students do as well, when other students are coming into the classroom after we've already started our class meeting. So if the door is closed, please don't come in. These videos are posted online, so if you happen to miss a class meeting, you can try and catch up with what you missed by referring to the video and reading through the textbook. So that's on time. The second part of it, ready to learn. What I mean by that is you should already take care of your personal needs prior to class. So if you need to get a drink of water or use the toilet or make a telephone call, please do those things before you come into the classroom, because I don't want you to leave the classroom once our class meeting has started. If there's a genuine emergency, then you can leave. Just please don't come back in, because I'm trying to avoid the distractions. One last thing in the learning environment is that students may only attend the class meetings corresponding to the section to which they are assigned. That doesn't apply since I'm only teaching one section of cost analysis this semester. The rest of this information has already been sort of referred to in the course schedule. For example, that we're having 3 quizzes. One additional bit of information is I'll mention that if you miss a quiz, it cannot be made up. So if you arrive late on a quiz day, then you're going to get a 0 on the quiz. We'll have 2 midterm exams and the final exam, a term project that I'll give you more details on in the future. For homework submissions, that will be collected before class begins. And so as you come into the classroom, you'll set it on a table that's at the front of the classroom. I don't accept late homework. So if you arrive a few minutes late and the door is closed, you're not allowed to submit your homework assignment. For what you do submit, you should be neat and professional, meaning that sloppy or illegible submissions are going to be penalized or rejected. You should show all of your calculation steps and show all of your work. And you shouldn't hand your assignment to another student to turn in, because that can lead to unauthorized copying. And there have been cases in the past where one student didn't necessarily know that another student was copying their assignment, but then both of them were in some hot water for cheating because the second student copied the first one's assignment. So to avoid that, just keep track of your own work and don't let other people take it. Along those same lines, let's talk about academic honesty and the expectations that are detailed in the AUS Student Academic Integrity Code. And if it's been a while since you reviewed those expectations, I'd encourage you to read through them in the AUS catalog. The bottom line is that in this class, copying homework and inappropriate collaboration is not allowed. So I've distinguished between what I consider acceptable behavior and unacceptable behavior. And acceptable behavior is working with other students and collaborating with them in a way that's going to encourage your learning. So specifically, it's okay to talk about homework problems with other students. It's okay to check answers once you've solved a problem to make sure that you get the same thing as a friend. And if there happens to be a difference, if someone's made a mistake, it's okay to help other students find their mistakes and learn from them. So all of that's fine. But there's a line you need to be sure not to cross, and that is if you give someone too much help, what you're doing is you're robbing them of an opportunity to learn. You're preventing them from going through the intellectual struggle that's required to increase knowledge and understanding of something. So here's what you shouldn't do. You shouldn't show someone every step of a problem, because when you've done that, you've taken away the chance that they'll have to try and figure it out for themselves. If you show them A, B, C, D, in order, everything that they need to do, then they're not going to have to apply any critical thinking. And then when it comes to the quiz or the exam, they're going to be really unprepared for having to figure it out by themselves in that environment. I've already talked about how you shouldn't hand your assignment to another student because they may copy it. This last one needs some additional description though, group working problems simultaneously. Now what I mean by that is that if you sit at a table with, let's say, 3 other students, and so the 4 of you are working on a homework problem at the same time, the problem with that is that naturally one of the 4 people that are sitting at the table is going to be a little bit faster than the rest and is going to figure things out more quickly. And so the other people that are there are just going to start to follow the lead and do the thing that the fastest person said to do, and they're not going to be figuring it out on their own. They're going to have that intellectual struggle stolen from them. And so what I suggest, instead of working on the same problem as a group at the same time. Instead of doing that, you should work on your homework individually, give it your best shot, solve it if you can. If you can't solve it, get stuck, look at the notes, look in the book, try and figure it out on your own, and then if you can't move any further, then talk about the problem with another student. So I'm going to screen incoming homework assignments through the semester for inappropriate collaboration, including if there are any instances of students who've copied from a solution manual. So any violators are going to be referred to the dean's office if there's instances of inappropriate collaboration. This inappropriate collaboration would be anything that violates the rules that I've outlined in this course policies. Through the semester, you can use iLearn, the gradebook there, to find out on an updated basis what your grade is. You can see what the weighting assignments are. For example, the assignments are 20%, quizzes are going to count for 10% of the grade, and so on. And then also provided in these course policies is the grading scale that's going to be used to assign a letter grade at the end of the semester to the score that you've earned. Okay, we also have a syllabus, which I won't go through in detail because most of the things that are already found in the course policies and the schedule are repeated on the syllabus, but I'll mention that this is also posted online, and I'd encourage you to read through it on your own so that you can better understand what our learning objectives are this semester and how they tie into the program's learning objectives. All right, so on the day of the class on Sunday, when we were actually in class, what we worked on at this point was the concept inventory. So this is the conclusion of the recorded lecture. I'm going to post this on YouTube. Let's just look one last time at these announcements before I finish the video. Remember to upload the assignment before 11 o'clock, and if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me.